Welcome back to the podcast. Half Past Out is here to entertain you. We are back with the 2025 Half Past Out Watch Madness Independent Edition. It's a good time. We're having fun, and today we're talking dress watches. But before we do that, we brought some watches and we brought some drinks. So, Will, what do you got for us?
Well, I'm back with the shades because I figured to be back for popular demand.
A lot of you left in the comments last week how much you hated the shades, and it was wild.
We brought back Casamigos as well. It's still not the Añejo. Casamigos, please hit us up. Would love to have the Añejo.
Every week, we'll shill for Casamigos.
Yeah, you're right. So I've got that paired with the Omega Moon swatch.
Two swatches in 2 weeks. I like it.
Yeah, we're cycling through. So I'm here to chase the Casamigos with some good old-fashioned Kroger nuts out of blueberries.
Love it.
So
Quality.
get that nice.
It's gonna sound real great you eating these nuts on pot or on mic.
You know, I got pretty. Last episode they were a little loud. This episode I'll be muting in between. I figured that out about.
Well, while you're pouring your shot this week, I have got another Domingo because it is truly my favorite beer from New Belgium. This is my second one of the night, and I'm loving it.
Interesting.
With that, I have another Christopher Ward. This is the 12 as well in the steel with a glacier blue dial.
Looks hot.
God, they are so beautiful. I doubt the camera's coming through in any sort of justice for this watch.
No shot.
We'll get some B-roll.
Yeah, we're gonna get a ton of B-roll.
Check our Instagram. We're gonna have some really nice shots of a lot of pieces coming up, and hopefully the Christopher Ward will feature.
Yeah, no, truly, they did an incredible job with this. They have a 38 millimeter, but I think the 40 is perfect for this. Hunter, how about you?
I wanted to be unexpected today.
Oh, God.
So I am wearing none other than Will's Movado, the Series 800, in all its glory. It keeps time. It's 3 minutes behind, but that is what it is. And equally unexpected.
It's late like I'm late.
It is very late. Dude, I can't even open this. Oh, yeah.
A Four Loko.
Little Foster's Lager.
We'll have
This
to make
thing
a Four Loko back.
Can't even fit my hand around it. I think it's the perfect watch pairing. Like,
I've
you're
never
not ready
seen
for
anybody
either.
drink one of those before or buy one in general.
Honestly, I was looking through the mini fridge and I thought to myself, well, I just had my last beer. And sure enough, in the back of the fridge, baby, the Foster's comes through. And this is the first time I'm having Foster's. So cheers to that one.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts and opinions.
It's a lager.
Like all others.
They actually had to change the width of the can because people kept leaving them in their cup holders. And so now you can't.
You can't.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, now that we're all classed up with a Foster's Lager, let's get into dress
Nice watch,
watches,
by the
guys.
way. I really like your watch, Hunter. I think that's nice.
It's a nice look.
It looks
I'll
very
sell it to you.
loved.
Yeah, you know.
It looks well loved. It looks like it's been worn a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's my first time.
There you go. Yeah.
You know, it's definitely.
First time,
It might be on
first
eBay.
time with the Fosters. This is a great moment for you, Hunter.
Yeah.
It's losing a lot of virginities. All right.
So similar to last week where the sports watch kind of covered a lot of different categories like pilots and dive and everything. In dress watches, there's some different complications. There's some like more Bauhausy minimalist. We start with one with the Nomos Nomos, how do you pronounce this? Why do you do this to us? Tangente 38?
Tangent.
Tangent. Yes. All of those are correct. Do your own
Tangerine. I'm calling it the tangerine.
And the Maine Lunar Classic. Hunter would not stop bothering us about Maine, so we have them in here. We will be reaching out to you because honestly, it's a cool design language. While I pull up details, what are y'all's first thoughts?
Yeah, I think what drew me to Maine was one Instagram ad. Gotta love it.
Nice.
Appreciate sending us some good marketing material to review. So appreciate that. No, I thought it was cool that they were doing a collaboration with our friend Nico Leonard on YouTube. So be sure to check him out.
Not our friend, never spoken to him. Do your own research.
Nico and us, we go way back.
Yes.
It's cool. I like that they're working with creators. And you know, there's a lot of Nico has a lot of opinions. So do we, right? Nico makes YouTube. So do we. He's got a team of 3 or more. We have a team of 3, and sometimes my wife likes to watch us do the video. So
is this your pitch to Maine to partner with us?
So hear me out, man.
That's a hell of a pitch.
We're not even sure if we're pronouncing the name right.
Maine, we'd love to work with you. And to kick us off, I think the Lunar Classic is super cool. It's probably my favorite watch out of your collection. And I think it's probably the popular vote as well. Just looking at how it's been presented, both in Instagram, your website, that sort of thing. So, yeah, that's my pitch. And then Nomos, yeah, we'll get to you and we can figure out how to say the name of your watch.
Looking through Main right now, it's one thing to be able to like customize a watch, dial, color, strap design. I don't necessarily like the idea of two different movement options in the same watch. They have either the whatever. They've got one version of a Sellita SW280 and another version of a Sellita SW280 for $400 more. I mean, if you're gonna do it, put the higher end one in it, charge $1,400, and just don't make the cheaper version. In my opinion, I like the design aesthetic though.
Is the argument that it changes too much about the watch?
I guess I just don't see why it's done. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna do a movement in a watch, just commit to it and do it well. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe I'm overreacting on this.
I'll play devil's advocate, not because I want Maine to do a collaboration with us or anything like that. But I can see, in the studio, you're like, hey, we want to do this Sellita movement and we want to do this lunar moon phase, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to have 4 different colorways. And then you think to yourself, well, there's a lot of people that are wanting to spend pretty much exactly $1,000 on a watch.
Yeah.
And I can see like that being kind of a, almost like an emotional purchasing journey hump for a lot of people. If they see a price tag at $1,400 versus a price tag at $1,040 in this situation.
Yeah, totally fair.
So I could see that as maybe they're saying like, hey, we want to get somebody in a moon phase for $1,000 or roughly $1,000.
Okay.
I can see that. In general, I usually agree with you. I'd probably make them 2 different SKUs, though. That's probably what
I think that's it for me. Because from what I see, all it is a design aesthetic for the actual movement. Like they changed the color of the screws and the rhodium plating. So I don't know if it's worthwhile. I like the idea of 2 different SKUs. But the dial itself and the moon phase are very cool. Will, what are your thoughts?
Sorry, I was muted for the nuts.
Classic.
This is a tougher one for me. I am on record liking the Nomos Tangerine. Mm-hmm. I like their design language, always have. They have a ton of SKUs that look just like this. Really, doesn't matter if you want an extra complication or one less complication.
Yeah.
They all look pretty similar. So you know what you're getting with Nomos, and they do hold up well. Well reviewed. I think it's very well known how nice their finishing is. It's a really nice watch, and I want to push it through, but I can't. I love the multi-layered dial. I'm a dial guy. That's like my biggest focus. And I think I'm so intrigued by the multi-layered dial. I'm going to even pretend, I'm going to bring our price points even closer and pretend like I could only get the $1,400 one. Close, because the Nomos comes in, I believe, $2,180. But I'm going to land at the main for either $1,040 or $1,480. I don't like that it's listed as top grade and not top grade because it kind of makes you think you might get a bum watch.
Yeah.
I don't mind you having the same SKU and have a choice between 2 levels of movements. You just got to pick a different movement. I don't know what you can do anything else. Pick a different movement. Like, I just don't care. All right. Like that's the one thing because I don't like the idea in the back of my head. It's like, I might get a movement that might like suck or fail because the words top grade didn't come in front. I think it's bad marketing for them. I really don't mind when you're allowed to customize the kind of the ins and outs of a watch. But when it makes you question your purchasing decision, I don't love that. So, that's my thoughts on that. I am going to push the main through. I don't know how much the design language will carry it the whole way. I think it's an interesting watch, but, I think the Nomos just gets beaten out by intrigue this episode.
I agree. I think the main's going to walk through with a clean sweep. I do prefer the main, regardless of like my discrepancies with the movement, kind of like we've touched on a lot.
Yeah.
And in Main's defense, Nomos does do something very similar. You can spend $300 more to get a sapphire case back as opposed to stainless steel. I think, like Will said, it's mostly the marketing of saying, hey, this is a top grade movement. Whatever.
It's literally what it says. It says top grade versus what is the other form? It just says elabore grade, which for the general user, not going to know. They're not going to care what that is. They can read what top grade sounds like and They're just going to assume the opposite from the other one. So I just think they got to do something else. I will give this one demerit because I gave it a demerit, or I gave a different watch a demerit last week or 2 weeks ago. This watch is in pre-production and it is available, but I will cut this watch if it goes out of stock.
Totally fair. Totally
Only
reasonable.
It says only a few available right now for the 1041, and it doesn't look like it's limited right now for the 1438 one.
Yeah.
But if it goes out of stock, I'm cutting it, especially because it's in pre-pro.
Interesting.
So
disclaimer. Classic moves forward. We'll see if it survives either through the rest of the bracket or even just with its stock supply. The next one I personally think is tough, but I guess I don't know what you guys are going to think. I'm excited to hear. We've got the Echo Nutra Rivanera versus the Anordain Model 1. These are both watches that Hunter and I got to see in Chicago. Echo Nutra is a really cool brand. Anordain has a lot of like momentum right now because of Teddy Baldassar and the rich guy that he hangs out with. I don't know why.
Is it the Shark Tank? Is it
Shark Tank?
Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Leary.
I'm never going to be good with names.
He's the guy that likes red bands on his watches.
Yeah, that's right. The Rivanera,
I would point at mine, but it's actually mine over there.
Is also a pre-order watch. Expected to ship. There's not going to be a limited release for it, or expected to ship in May. But they have other like dressy watches. I think this is my favorite of their collection.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It doesn't say only a few left or anything like that. So I am less likely to cut it because it's on a pre-order, because I can do some research here, but it doesn't look like they're withholding orders on other watches after that. So
yeah, they just kind of release it in waves.
Yeah, it looks like they're on their 5th batch, set to send that over here in the next couple of months. I wouldn't cut this one out.
Hunter, I know you've been looking for a red watch
for a long time.
Yeah.
I
How
hope
does
that's
the
on your
Ox
list of
blood-
things to do this year.
It is on my list. I'll tell you what, if the Anordain price point was more in my buying power, I'd probably own one.
Yeah, which is about $3,000 after taxes and fees.
Yeah. Depends on the size you get, but yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, the dials are unbelievable. Being able to see them in person, we got some awful photos.
So bad. So bad.
And I
worthy
think
of any watch website.
Oh yeah, some of those reseller websites would love our photos. They would dig it. I think here's a couple things that are going on for the Anordain. One, they've got some of the coolest dials for the money, particularly from a independent watch brand. There's a lot of big brands that can just spend money making the craziest dial and charging out the ass for it. But Anordain here is doing something pretty cool for, as much as it is $3,000 in the grand scheme of things. To get something similar, you're probably looking at $7,000-8,000 plus minimum. So this is a really great value. The other thing, Will alluded to it. This watch comes in 3 different sizes and 4 different colorways.
Yeah.
On top of that, if you want to spend more money, because if you can buy it once, you can buy it twice, they have options for a fume dial as well that uses enamel. And as cool as these dials are, the fumes are insane.
Yeah.
So that being said,
Are they not all?
They are all
there's a
enamel.
fume enamel. I was gonna say they're all enamel. There's an opaque enamel, which I believe is the traditional material, and then they have the, like as Hunter mentioned, the fume enamel is
so they're all
astounding.
they're all enamel, to be clear. Thank you, Will. But yeah, those fumes are just like, it's one of those, you're looking at art pieces. And it just kind of takes that your watch to the next level. But that's not the watch we're looking at today. We're looking at the Model 1 standard. Pick any size you want. They're all kind of at the same price point, more or less.
Which also, when you buy it, you are paying for a build slot. They're not shipped, just like very similar to the Echo Nutra. They're
made
not
to
shipping
build.
right away.
Yeah, they're made to order. They're made in house. They thermally treat each hand. They hand make each and every dial. I mean, everything is handmade and to its most meticulous.
Yeah.
It looks amazing on camera because it is amazing in person. They've seen it in person. Everyone documents how unbelievable Anordain. I think Anordain's been on our podcast radar for a while because of how amazing their dials come out, and it's hard to ignore. So,
So I will say, I'm going to start voting here. It's the Echo Neutra for me. I think the Echo Neutra speaks to like the soul of a dress watch. It is muted, but also kind of like showy in its design aesthetic. I first of all, love a rectangular watch. It's super thin. It's titanium, so it's lightweight. I mean, I think it looks absolutely stunning. I love an Art Deco style. Yeah, the Echo Neutra is where I would go, and it's half the price.
Right. I'm going to put Hunter on the hot seat. I think it's pretty obvious where I'm going with this one. And Ordained for me. I love what they do over there. I, again, sucker for the dial. Don't like that K shape. Christian and I have talked about it.
He has no taste.
That K shape sucks. A lot of people don't like that K shape. So,
I almost did all rectangular cases.
Yeah, I would have righted.
Short video, brother.
Yeah, just not voted.
I abstain.
And Ordained for me. It is an amazing piece that, again, as great as their photos are, I don't even think it does it justice.
Hunter, tiebreaker?
Not a hot seat, Will.
Yeah.
Give me an Ordained.
Let's go.
Echo Neutra, you got done dirty.
No, it didn't. Echo Neutra never had a shot.
It didn't have a shot, and especially not against the N-Ordained. I wish you had a different opponent.
I'll say this. The Echo Neutra, it does look like it belongs in Dune 1, where there's no colors ever.
All right, moving on, because before you all insult me more. This is an interesting lineup. Braver is a brand I did not hear of until putting this list together. When I kind of just needed micro brands that we hadn't repeated. So I don't know a ton about this lineup. I know they mostly do like sportier aesthetics. This is one of their more dressier pieces versus the Sternglass. Our friend Cody just got a Sternglass. We've talked a lot about how much we love, again, that Bauhaus aesthetic. Neither of these are the most dressy watch in this category, but they're a little bit more versatile, I think. What do y'all think?
One thing that I thought was cool about the Braver here is they have like an ambassador program for cycling. And with this BW003, they're kind of expanding upon that outside of kind of purely the cycling and sports. But it's still absolutely wearable in that scenario. So I think that kind of provides a unique offering to the dress category. I am interested just in general about the strap. So I imagine they use some sort of Horween leather. I can't see anything. Let me know if you guys see anything on the website, if it clarifies that or not. But I would imagine if you want to do any sort of cycling with a watch like this, you're going to run into issues with a leather strap like that.
Well, yeah, but that's for our sports watch category, Hunter. Go back to last week.
Then
they advertise.
We need to put Braver in last week's video.
It's not as bad as what was it last year? What brand did we have in every category? We had the same watch in every category. Yeah. Bremont.
Bremont just cheated. That's what it was. They're a bunch of cons over there. All good. I think this is an interesting watch brand. Obviously, we don't know too much about it. And we have some hands-on experience with the Sternglass fairly recently as well. And so you can certainly feel that the value there coming from Sternglass for watches that come in at sub $300. And for me, it's going to be tough to vote for Braver, not knowing too much about what they're doing. But I do think it's really interesting the way that they're kind of bringing together the cycling, and it's very clearly, and I do think it fits in this dress category, dress watch. So this will be a toss-up for me. I got to hear what you guys are thinking.
All right. I'll kick off my thoughts and then my voting. Braver, another made-to-order watch, which I find interesting. Made in Sweden. Hunter, to answer your question as best as possible, all it lists is a variety of vegetable tanned leather straps.
So like it's made of vegetables or tanned by way of vegetables?
I've never understood.
You can pick the answer. That's your choice.
I like these guys.
One thing I like about this watch off the gate, 5 ATM. They didn't bother putting money into what they don't do, which is dive. Like nobody. All right. These are made to order, coming in, made in Sweden, handmade watches, $1,350. So I would hope, because they're made to order, handmade, and there's an expectation you will wait 2 weeks before shipping at all. I would hope that the finishing is really nice on this. At first, this was an easy chop for me. I like Sternglass. I recommended Sternglass for Cody. I really like the brand. I think it's great in the budget conscious area. I think what is that, 270 for stern glass now?
300, 350, I think, for the Naos
For
that we're
that
looking
one,
at.
that one in particular. I think you can get even cheaper. You can have one that looks just like the Nomos from the other slide for $269 at 38 millimeters. So they're very budget conscious. They make a nice watch. I'm going to stick my neck out for the Braver here because of, I think you're getting a really nice luxury at what has been in the past two slides 5x the cost, right? I haven't seen a Braver in person, and I always recommend you check on their customer service and whatnot. I think most of these brands are willing to work with you if you just don't like what you got, but I'm going to stick my neck out here for Braver and think that their finishing is going to be worth the quality you get at $13.50. I really, really like the idea. These are all individually numbered. Yeah. They'll be numbered on the back side of the watch. It uses really nice parts. I just hope their attention to detail is as promised.
I agree with you, Will. I think I'm going to go with the Braver over the stern glass. I'm kind of a sucker for a story, and just on the very bottom, it says Swedish soul, Swiss heart. That hooked me in right away. But I love the design aesthetic, and as far as dress watches go, I think it speaks more to the dress category than the Bauhaus movement of any stern glass. I mean, Bauhaus is like a clean look. It can be dressy. This is a dress watch, though, So I think I'm going to push that through, but Hunter, did you want to go out for the stern glass?
One thing I thought was interesting about the Braver is that the steel case back is sold out.
Yeah.
The sapphire kind of, I would imagine, in my mind, is more of like that dressy watch style.
Exciting piece, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's super fucking cool.
It's also $200 more for the sapphire. I agree with Hunter. I am surprised that at $200 more, I'm going sapphire.
Yeah.
Handmade like that, so I'm spending the extra $200.
Yeah. Totally. Absolutely. And I think that's probably because we're coming at this from a dress watch lens.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I think maybe what's happening here is you're getting the steel case back because you're using it for the cycling culture that they're looking to do. One other thing I thought was cool is, how they do since whatever year that we founded this company. Theirs says since now.
That's a very you thing to love.
Yeah.
They were founded in 2011, but as far as you're concerned,
it's now.
Fresh off the block.
They're still figuring things out, and therefore, sunglass it is. Excellent value. You can get some of these for $270 a piece.
You're just so wrong.
I'm pressed to know what their margins are on even these pieces. Like handmade like that, man. I can't be much. They do it for making
will
watches.
Ask and find out.
Yeah, Magnus and Johan will let you know.
Yeah,
I don't think they will.
We'll text them.
I love their piece. Cheers to Sweden. I'm taking a shot for them.
Cheers to Sweden.
Sweden.
All right. Our last matchup is the most expensive matchup we've had. And that's why we're doing this before the 10,000 up piece. We have the Cuervo y Sobrino Flameante, and I'm going to butcher this so bad. Speak Marine Academic, specifically the Academic Black Tie. These are both beautiful watches. We've gotten to see Cuervo y Sobrino, our favorite watch store, Right Time, carries them. Highly recommend it if you're in the area. Super, super well-made watches.
Beautiful
pieces.
This
dial is absolutely stunning. It is currently priced at $32.50 on an alligator strap versus the Academic Black Tie at 1,000 francs. That's Swiss money, which roughly translates to between 10 and 20,000 US dollars.
Wow, that's a hell of a
10.5 millimeter titanium case. I believe it's an in-house movement, 52-hour power reserve. Both of these watches are, I think you get the money or you get what you're paying for. Having never seen the Speak Marine, admittedly, it does have more color options and SKUs in this collection. Some of them are more skeletonized and weird, so I wanted to go with like a dressier one. They do have a red though.
They do, and it sucks.
Really?
The Rogue, the Academic Rogue, not for that money.
Let me take a look at it. What do you think of the two we have listed?
Well, the Rogue sucks. You already know that. But the Academic Black is better.
Yeah.
I think that we've gotten to a price point where it's a bit harder to tell where your money is going per
Yeah.
se. That being said, one of the things that just looking at the dial is one of the things that I think both of these do particularly well. You're looking at obviously a black lacquer dial from Black Tie. The black matte, I don't know if that's comparable to that of like Vanta black and matte sort of thing, which would be super cool. And the question then kind of becomes is what does that loom look like, right? And the one concern I have is if you look at the photo they have of the loom, it's not even the watch. So just it's that far right photo.
Yeah, that's a good point. And even the loom is also not very bright in their loom shot, which I feel like
I don't even have a loom shot on my photo. Damn.
Again, it's just the dial.
I don't have a loom
it's just
shot.
the numerals in the
yeah. But it's not even a photo. It's a dude.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm a little
I
concerned about that. And like, that's kind of where I think a watch like this academic black tie can really literally shine.
Sure.
Is having this super matte black dial contrast with some of the best loom you can find.
It's also probably the only watch on this list with loom though. Dress watches historically do not have loom dials.
And then just comparing, right? Looking at Cuervo y Sobrino's Flameante. For $3,200, that is a crazy cool dial.
I want you guys to know we've all been to Mexico as a group twice, and if Hunter's pronunciation isn't indicative of how that goes,
that's exactly how it goes.
As the only Colombian in the group, it does hurt me hearing it.
all right.
Cuervo y Sobrinos is going to love the way I say this because it's probably my vote. The Flameante in the salmon dial. There's a bunch of other options as well. They do some crazy dials as well. This is going to be my vote here. I just think that the attention to detail is super attentive, if you will.
Sure.
But having seen them in person, it's when you don't have words, just reuse them.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the having seen these dials in person, just knowing how well they do them. Yeah. And Christian kind of said at the beginning as he was presenting these watches, you're going to get what you pay for, right? And both of these watches are going to be, very high quality, crazy craftsmanship. So it's going to be the Flameante for me.
Well, Will is finishing his nuts. I'm going to agree. It is the Flameante for me as well. I mean, every part of this speaks to they eventually moved to Switzerland, but every part of how they make their watches speaks to their Cuban heritage, which I absolutely love, down to the humidor packaging it comes
Boy, does that sound biased. Humidor packaging is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It should come with a cigar.
The case back is really beautiful. Again, a sapphire case back, pretty standard on dress watches. The dial is something you very rarely see. I love the aesthetic of the academic black tie. I really like the raised numerals and the red type on the outer rim. Wow, it's been a long day. And the offset subdial. All things I really, really enjoy. It's 5 times more expensive. The fact that
I mention, I'm pretty sure it's white gold. The case is made of white gold, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so you're not just dropping money for money. There is a precious gem involved.
Oh, no, on the black tie, I apologize. That is steel. Or that's titanium.
Ah, titanium.
Yes.
Okay.
They do have a gold edition.
Got it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's next to it.
Yeah, specifically on the black tie, though, it is titanium.
Yeah.
I believe it's steel for the Cuervo. It is. Only 3 meters of water resistance, though, which is kind of a bummer. But no, it's the Cuervo y Sobrinos for me.
All right, man.
Truly by a long shot. I love the aesthetic of the academic, but...
Woo!
Or Will, how about you?
All right. First, we did some conversions for you.
Wow,
15,000
we're doing the
francs.
research for you.
15,000 francs. Yeah, I had time to put the numbers in. 15,000 francs comes out to about 17 Gs.
So we were right, between 10 and 20,000.
Yeah, wow, what a range. Here, I'm still going to be the contrarian.
Okay.
I really like the Speakman Academic for its design language. I think it's a really cool aesthetic. I love the hands. I don't think we've mentioned that yet. I think
the hands
are really cool. And this isn't I really don't have much bad to say about the Cuervo. As we've mentioned, they're available at right time. And so in person, they are as beautiful as you'd expect. And I do think they go the extra mile as far as packaging and kind of that entire Colombian heritage.
Cuban
Heritage.
We're not on the same, Will.
Well, Jesus. That's it. I'm going to run with my Speak Marin Academic pick.
Okay.
With a note. Hunter, the red looks fine. I think you should stop hating. The HMS Titanium, their other titanium piece, is... Listen, if you're spending 15, you can spend 20. I mean, that kind of... That's the math, right?
You can only spend 20 if you can spend 40 is the math.
Right. And at that point, if you're gonna
there's a lot of watches that you could go for. I actually think Speak Marin, you could stay within the brand and go for a Speak Marin, but come away with what I think is a nicer looking watch, and it is that one right there, the HMS Titanium for 20.
Yeah.
Really tough for me to ignore that option by them. I'm fading out of the photo. I really like this piece and would like to reflect that if I could have picked a piece from them, it probably would have been this. I know this gets almost more out of dress and more into exotic,
Exactly.
so I get why that's not picked.
That's why it's not in here.
Right.
Because this is not a dress watch, as cool as it is.
I think they do a lot of good things. I just... and I get why it's not passing through. I think that is probably ultimately the right choice, but I do want to give them my vote because I think it is a really, really cool piece.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just hope the loom is like that one weird photo with the dude in the background.
Well, guess what, Speak Marine? We're emailing you. We are going to ask for press samples because it is a cool piece, and I'd love to.
Yeah, I'd love to show it off. Could you imagine? We get that under the microscope lens with the black light and everything.
But unfortunately, it doesn't move on. Guerrero Sabarino. That is
the downside is Hunter has to pronounce it again.
Yeah, that is honestly a downside. Ooh, that's a good point.
I'm saying. All right.
Well, this has been our first round of the dress racket. We've got one more first round left. It is our over $10,000 category. We're going to see a lot more exotic pieces. We won't be including Speak Marine because we're only doing one brand or one instance.
We're going to try.
We're
close.
Let us know what you guys think. Which watches would you take? And please correct Hunter's pronunciation on all watches.
Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.
Please let us know your feedback on the video format. We like doing it for you, but if it's not really worth the while, we can always switch back. So,
Cheers.
Cheers.